What's up, everyone? Today I'm going to give you the highlights of the Phoenix Mercury Los Angeles Sparks game from tonight. I got my Natasha Cloud Phoenix Mercury hat on for the honors. It was a pretty decent game, pretty evenly traded in terms of stats and numbers, but as I'm always highlighting, the team that had more turnovers and fewer rebounds is the team that ended up losing the game, which in this case was the Los Angeles Sparks. They had 17 turnovers, 29 rebounds, versus Phoenix, who had 15 turnovers and 32 rebounds. So, like I said, it was fairly close. It was a pretty evenly traded game, as you can see here, kind of looking at the scores. Sparks did pretty good at evenly dispersing between the perimeter and in the paint. Kind of the Phoenix was pretty much dominantly in the paint, but they were very effective from the perimeter because that was the only other factor that you can see here that impacted the game was the three-point shooting. Phoenix had 11 threes total for the whole game, predominantly coming from Sammy Whitcomb. She went 5 for 7 from the three-point line. Overall, the three-point shooting for Phoenix was 44%, and Los Angeles Sparks was 29.2%. Phoenix ended up sneaking away with it, 92 to 84. Let's take a look at the player stats. All right, so looking at Phoenix Mercury, the clear leader in the points is actually not super clear, but Satu Sabali was the leader, 19 points. Clea Copper had a great game as well, 18 points. AT recorded, I don't even know what number it is now, I've lost count, but got another triple-double tonight, 12 points, 15 assists, 16 rebounds. Whitcomb, majority of, like I said, she went 5 for 7 from the three-point line, but she also went 5 for 7 from the field goal. So she had 17, pretty good off the bench. Dewana Bonner came back, as I like to call her Debo, came off the bench as well with 14 points, had a pretty decent game herself. So scoring all around, pretty decent from the Mercury side. Now, there's a clear issue that I see here on the Los Angeles Sparks, and this is not an issue for the Los Angeles Sparks. This was just an issue for them in this game, but something that my dad would be proud for me to identify right away is that all of the points came from 3 players, the majority. The only other ones were all single digits, but 25 points, Derek Hamby, obviously their center, Rickea Jackson, and Kelsey Plum. So you had your post players and your, essentially your point guard with the majority of the points on your offense. So definitely got to get a little bit better there. Azaria Stevens was held to 5 points. I didn't see if she went down with an injury or not, but that's pretty unlike her. Ray Burrell had 9 points. She's not hungry for Ray Burrell, honestly. She's not really the best in terms of her game. I know she's been injured this year, so maybe that's what it is. I was more impressed with her with the Unrivaled season than I have been in the WNBA season. But anyway, Kelsey Plum had 20 points. Rickea Jackson helped out with 21. Rickea Jackson went down in a pretty scary moment, seemed to be in a lot of pain, but ended up coming back out on the fourth quarter and playing. So pretty decent game overall. Now, just to close, this game kind of did show a little bit in terms of playoff contingency. I know that the Los Angeles Sparks have been on a streak. I know they've been on a push to get into the playoffs. Kind of like what we saw from Seattle earlier tonight. It's just you're seeing a lot. You're starting to see at this point in the season the top dogs separating from the rest of the pack, and I think that's kind of what we're starting to see here a little bit. Phoenix not necessarily one of the stronger ones in the pack, but obviously from the weaker ones, they're starting to pull away a little bit. Los Angeles Sparks, they've got to get it together. They can't play too many more games like this and expect to get into the playoffs. Phoenix, we'll see. I need to see them play a team with a little bit more competition. I felt like Derek Hamby and Rickea would be a little bit of a problem for them, so I wanted to see how Phoenix handled that and responded. Because again, like I always talk about with Phoenix, they don't necessarily have super strong posts, and I wouldn't say they're all twos. I wasn't saying they're all twos. I'm just saying that there is quite a lot of them that are twos. I know somebody said Alyssa Thomas is kind of a 3. She's 6'2", so yeah, she's big for a guard, but I would probably say that she's a 3, maybe 2. I don't think I could put her at the 4, but maybe. She's, like I said, she's 6'2". She's strong enough. She's certainly bully enough. But the point is that there's a lot of people playing out of position on Phoenix, and I just don't think with the competition they're going to be up against as it gets further along in the playoffs. Once it hits the playoffs and then gets further along, I just don't know if they've got it. But we'll see. Sparks, I don't know. They struggle with bad teams and they do well against good teams, and that's kind of what Seattle's problem is. How do you get blown out? Okay, I'll review that game later.